I'm really quite sad about the fact that I'm not able to be with you in person today, because I would make it a high priority. I'm actually in Perth, so it's not easy for me to decide not to be in Perth and to be present at the New Heights launch, but I'd love to be with you. I have a privilege in that I'm alongside a reasonably significant number of leaders on a regular basis in Australia, mainly Christian leaders, but not only. And I'm very impressed by the quality of their qualifications, their capacities. The area that I think many leaders have overlooked to some extent and are almost struggling in Australia at the moment to some extent is the personal qualifications and leadership. Maybe even I'd be audacious enough to suggest the character issues of leadership, because most people will follow a person's character for longer than they will follow the person for charisma or for giftedness. That doesn't mean that giftedness is not important. It is. But once you get to know a person, that is actually more likely to allow longer term, deeper leadership. And therefore I believe that character issues, issues of integrity, issues of trust, issues of positive optimism and life working well for the leader himself or herself become crucial, not only in allowing a person to lead, but in helping them to continue leading, and particularly for them to finish well. I believe leadership comes to the fore, particularly and maybe even majorly when we're under pressure. And that's when I think integrity, that's when depth of character becomes a key issue. I believe leadership is very much an inside out, where self-leadership is where it begins, and then we lead a group of people, a group of team, and then we have the opportunity to lead at the wider sphere or at the wider level. And if we change as an individual, that will have repercussions on our team and on our wider leadership as well. The circles that actually surround the individual leader from an inside out family becomes a very close circle and an early circle of influence, and where the changes of going deeper in order to go further, where they become evident. If I'm to be a leader, then I believe my wife needs to be the first person who sees whatever qualities I have, because she certainly will be the first person to see the qualities I don't have. And unless I have integrity in that context, unless I stand up as a leader of character and integrity there, I probably don't have the right, and at some point will be found out, although it might take a while, I will be found out in the wider context. So I'd be encouraging all leaders to be very relational in our priorities, and the priorities are in concentric circles, so that our wife and our children are actually the first relationships that are both empowering to us, but also we are ministering or leading those people well, because actually they are the people who know us best. In my mentoring, the major area, or a major area, possibly the major area of dilemma that I'm coming across day by day for Christian and other leaders is burnout, where a person to some degree or other has emotional depletion, and maybe in burnout itself, emotional exhaustion. And there are lots of contributors to that. But part of that is often the fact that we run so hard, we push ourselves so hard, we are so oriented towards needing to succeed or to be a good leader or to have the organisation grow or thrive in order to feel okay about ourselves. So that one of the contributors to burnout is the attempt to, in my own eyes and the eyes of those around me, be okay because I am succeeding. That kind of insecurity is understandable and almost, unfortunately, normal, but it's not healthy. There's a spectrum of motivation, and we're all at some point on it. From at one end, I don't feel okay about myself unless or until I've succeeded, or in some way or another, the performance is good. And that's like climbing a hill all the time. The other end is where somehow or another, and this is mainly through secure, long-term, trustworthy relationships, and I, as a Christian, would say primarily relationship with God, we actually are okay, we feel secure, and that then allows us to have the motivation to perform in a way that frees us so that success won't spoil us and failure won't shatter us, because in actual fact we are okay. So I would love to see leaders operating more and more from that secure basis of recognising that we are inherently valuable. As a Christian, I would say, because God created us and He's for us and with us, I'm okay. And then I am free to lead in ways that are both cautious in the sense of ensuring that I've got people with me and around me, but audacious in the sense that I'm prepared to really go for it, because my well-being and hopefully the well-being of others doesn't depend, on this success or whatever. I think the benefit of a mentoring relationship, which I interpret to be significantly about who the person is and focus on who the person is as a basis of what they do. It doesn't either try to split those apart or say that what we do is irrelevant or anything like that. But my role, or the role of a mentor in this area, is to walk with them in how they are dealing with whatever is happening, in who they are in the given situation. So although I'm really interested in the practical situation and even the how-tos of performance, my role as a mentor, and particularly as a Christian mentor, is to bring the leader back to the consideration of how they handle that particular situation, just to help them to focus on who they are, and over a period of time help them to find resources and to walk with them as they go deeper with God and in other key relationships in order to be able to go further or to keep going in some cases. I commend to you very, very highly Kevin as a person who has had both the courage and I believe has the capacity for this area of leadership development support that he is embarking on. I've known Kevin for a few years now, and I believe he has a very strong integrity in who he is as a Christian, but as a person. What you see in Kevin is what you get, and there isn't an underneath part that's likely to at some stage find him out or you out. I believe that there's an integrity there. Kevin has now a pretty wide and long experience in leadership himself, in a few different areas, but particularly at Coast Community Church, where he's been a a significant, integral part of the senior leadership team over a significant number of years, and worked, I think, brilliantly with other members of the team and with the senior pastor. I believe Kevin brings that kind of experience along with personal integrity and a wide range of giftedness. If anybody has earned the right to be a helper, to be a mentor, to be a coach, to be a resource person for others' leadership, I believe it's Kevin.